Hello, everyone, and here we have a new story. Before we get to that, I want to ask you to subscribe, like, and be sure to write comments in order to participate in the development of the community. Write how to improve my community, current topics in the stories you are interested in, and much more. I read and listen to all the comments. People write me stories by mail from different countries. There are problems with translation. I apologize for this. I will work on it and try to fix these errors. I want to thank everyone for their support and the people who wrote to me by mail. Broadcast news stories. New videos on my channel are published once every 2 days at 7 p.m. Don't forget to put a bell in order not to miss new videos. And now let's go! Hello, I want to tell you my story. My wife betrayed me. She betrayed me very much. My wife has not worked for 14 years. My wife is 44 years old, and I'm 48 years old. Our son is 22 years old. Our daughter is 15 years old. My wife takes courses. At first, I didn't pick up my wife because I couldn't afford a car. After a while, I bought a car and started picking up my wife. I noticed that my wife did not close the door of my car until the end. She usually closed the door to the end, but not lately. I wondered why she was doing this. I laughed at my wife about it. After that, my wife made a remark to me that it was very dirty in the car. She always sits next to me, sad and silent. At this time, something pricked me in the chest. I was watching my wife and couldn't figure out what was going on. I started noticing that my wife was hiding her mobile phone. While she was in the shower, I tried to find her mobile phone, but to no avail, the phone is in silent mode. Once I still managed to hold her mobile phone in my hands for 2 minutes. I managed to record 2 numbers from recent messages. A little later, I found my wife's profile on a dating site. I was very excited about it. As a result, it's time to go on a business trip. Before I leave, I tell my wife that I know everything. When I get home, I expect a detailed story from her. When, where, with whom. If you don't confess, I'll leave the family. In general, I decided to outwit my wife. Because in fact, I didn't have a single irrefutable proof. 3 days later, I returned home. There was a negative arrow in my house. We sit down to dinner. My wife behaves aggressively. I realized that I was not welcome in this house. I took some of my stuff and left. The next morning, I come for the rest of my things. The wife starts crying. I ask her what's going on. She starts telling me with tears in her eyes that she met a guy on the bus. Their romance has been going on for 3 months. Sex was only once. I was shocked, but it seemed to me that something didn't add up here. I'm asking, "Where's your phone?" My wife replies that she broke it. "If you want me to trust you, let's fix your phone and I want to see a message from this guy. If you tell me the truth, I will forgive you and we will continue to live together." My wife starts to resist and categorically does not want to go to fix her phone. Shouts that she confessed everything. Why don't I believe her? At that moment, I really wondered why. God, what a woman's logic. And then she keeps telling me that she was lonely because I spent all my time at work. Our children grew up and didn't pay attention to her. I calmly ask, "Why did you do it?" The wife replies that she wanted thrills and adrenaline. So that you understand, my wife is 44 years old. A couple of days passed and I forgave my wife. I think, yes, it's my fault. I work overtime and I'm rarely at home. I'm the only one who worked in our family. But doubts did not leave my thoughts. I came up with the idea to catch my wife on the hot with a mobile phone in her hands. It can't be that she broke it. Besides, even then, I didn't believe in her fictional story. 2 weeks later, I find my wife's mobile phone. As it turned out, she didn't break her phone. I start reading the messages and fall into a trance. Communication between my wife and boyfriend continued until I left on a business trip. My wife regularly met with this guy and had sex with him, mostly when I wasn't at home or when I was working late. I remember one moment on New Year's Eve when my wife asked me to take a picture of her in erotic underwear. I did it even without underwear, but I didn't attach any importance to it, because as my wife said, these photos are for us. As a result, in correspondence, I watched my wife exchange erotic photos with this guy. My heart almost stopped. The most interesting thing is that this guy also took a picture of his baton for my wife. I quickly head to my laptop. I enter the history of the internet browser. I was shocked. At the same time, my wife was hospitalized with a sexually transmitted disease. She told me it was a common thrush. I even paid for all the tests. What a fool I am. I wrote down the phone number of my wife's lover and made an appointment with him. What my wife's lover told me: "It's good that you called me. I'm already tired of your wife. I wanted to break up with her. I'm not going to date you." As it turned out, this man is my wife's classmate. He also received erotic photos taken by my hands. They had sex without a condom. Obviously, my wife contracted a venereal disease from him. The most interesting thing is that I had sex with my wife in a condom for 11 years. She insisted on it. But she spread her legs for some classmate and let him enter her without protection. I felt very disgusted and insulted. I felt so humiliated. I decided to talk to my wife. I made a scandal. My wife does not make contact and does not admit to anything. She denies everything. According to her, there was nothing special there. It's even hard to call it treason. I was shocked. After that, she uttered this phrase: "A good live act strengthens a marriage." This made me very angry. My wife treats cheating very calmly. It pissed me off. I took her by the neck and pressed her against the wall, but thank God I restrained myself and did not kill her. After that, she became very afraid of me. I came out of my house. It's good that I had another apartment. My mobile phone was bursting with calls. My wife tried to persuade me to come home. One day she came to my apartment. She put on beautiful underwear and provoked me to have sex with her. To be honest, it was very bad. My sexual organ was not even aroused from disgust for her. She burst into tears and ran away. Within a month, our communication was reduced to zero. A month later, she came to me again. My wife was on her knees and begged for forgiveness. She told me that she only loves me, that it was the first and last time. Something told me that my wife was lying, but we've been together for 23 years. I can't flush all these years down the toilet. Yes, to be honest, I really love her, as strange as it may sound, but there were thoughts that she had feelings for this guy. She was with me for the money. I was in the role of a sponsor. In general, I gathered all my strength into a fist. I made a big scandal in front of our neighbors. I screamed that she was a whore and lied to me all the time. My last words are that I'm filing for divorce and will never return to her again. She sat on the steps and begged me for forgiveness, but I didn't pay attention to it. After a while, I live on my own. Contact with children is maintained. We got divorced, but my wife still won't leave me alone. What do you think I should do about it? I've already made my decision. But at my age, it's already hard to find a new girl. Sometimes I have thoughts about forgiving her after all, just to not be lonely for the rest of my days. If you liked it, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now let's move on to the opinion of the author of the channel. Opinion of the author of the channel. I can only imagine the pain and confusion you must be going through. It is obvious that the betrayal you have experienced has deeply hurt you. Given the gravity of the situation, it is important to prioritize your well-being and mental health as you go through this difficult chapter. Although forgiveness is a personal choice, it is important to assess whether reconciliation is really in your best interest. Think about whether it is possible to restore the trust and respect necessary for a healthy relationship, given the circumstances. Make sure that any decision you make is based on self-esteem and your long-term emotional fulfillment. It is very important to surround yourself with supportive friends and family who can provide you with a safe space to express your emotions and thoughts. Consider seeking advice from a professional therapist who can help you deal with the complex emotions you are experiencing and guide you on the path of healing and self-discovery. Remember that you deserve love and respect, and your value is not determined by this painful experience. Prioritize activities and hobbies that bring you joy and self-realization. Focus on taking care of yourself and explore new ways of personal growth and happiness. Ultimately, it's up to you to forgive your wife or move on. What would I do in your situation? Now everything is very simple. I will never forgive my wife. This is quite a serious act on her part. As for your age, love can be found at any age. Look around. I think many 40-year-old girls are free. Many girls have faced a similar problem. My stories clearly show that people find each other no matter how old they are. So don't lose heart. Everything will be great for you. If you have watched to the end, I want to say thank you very much. I love you all. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey of love, betrayal, and redemption. I appreciate your support and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this story. Your participation and feedback are invaluable for shaping our content and promoting mutual understanding and community growth. Until we meet again.